This is the advice you wish you heard years ago. Be prepared and take note as we expose the realness and the raw of what it takes to be successful on addictedtosuccess.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Addicted to Success podcast. Today you are in for a treat. I have Harv Eker on the line, who is the multi-millionaire wealth trainer, New York Times best-selling author of The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Harv, I'm excited to hear your advice for young and hungry entrepreneurs and also what you've been up to. So welcome to the Addicted to Success podcast.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm chilling out a little bit and getting ready for my next big, huge, humongousOid thing, which takes a little bit of time.
Excellent, Harv, excellent. So let's take this question back to when you were in your early 20s, right? And you were experimenting with all these new business ideas. I know that you mentioned that you failed multiple times in your early 20s. What was it back then that you were doing that was making you fail, that you felt was limiting you from becoming successful back then?
Well, that's a good question, right down to the point. Why do you feel like you failed? Yeah, well, you're right. I mean, I did go through 12 different businesses without succeeding, let's put it that way. And, that's a really great point that you bring up, Joel, because I think that's really the only thing that I can bring to the table with people, actually, is because I did have 12 businesses that didn't work out. And then I did have the one that really worked out very, very quickly. And then I lost my money. And then I recognized why I lost it. And now I've been able to correct that. And now I've been able to not only do extremely, extremely well in business, but finances as well. And of course, I've done extremely well. So, and I've never been close to losing anything again. So I actually have both sides. And what happened for me was that you're right. I mean, after 12 businesses and being broke for more than a decade, like really broke, where I had to struggle to many, many nights, I would have to choose between putting $5 of gasoline, petrol in my car, or eating dinner that night. And many, many nights I had to choose the gasoline for the next day. And so literally, I never went bankrupt, but I know what hunger is. I can tell you that, not in a facetious way, but I know and going to sleep hungry was not new for me. And I couldn't believe it was happening to me. I tried everything, just like so many of the people that are on your program, really trying, you think you're a decent person. I read every book. I listened to all the tapes. I went to all the seminars. I mean, I was really on it. I thought I worked hard and everything, but it just wasn't working out for me. And literally what I bring to the table, I think, if I can humbly say so, is that I think I'm not good at a lot of things, but I'm good at a few things. And one of the things I know about myself is that I'm creative, but I'm also analytical. So when I started doing well, finally, I really, really analyzed what I was doing differently now that I'm doing well than I did for 12, 14 years when I was doing terrible. And I really, really not only noticed the differences, but I wrote them down, I made them principles. And so that's, what I can bring to bear. This is what I did when I was broke. This is what I did when I got rich. This is what I do to get richer and richer. And there's a big, 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 big difference between them. And I will say, off the cuff, one of the biggest differences that I would say is was that I had this belief, and this is really important for everybody to understand. Okay, first of all, I'm very famous for saying, don't believe a word I say. So, just take it as my own experience and do whatever you want with it. I'm not here to change anything, change your mind, be right, say what I do is right. At the same time, I was really broke. Now I'm really rich. There's some major differences that happen. And one of them was that I had a belief that if you were in the right business at the right time, you would get rich. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people believe that. And I totally believe that with every ounce of soul in my body and my mind and my everything, that if you got in the right business at the right time, you could get rich, okay? And I did that 12 times. And I was actually very good at finding hot new businesses. In fact, that was the first course I ever taught. And so I knew I could smell what a good opportunity was. And it was mind-boggling to me as to why is it not working for me? I saw other people making money, and I always had a reason as to why. Wrong partner, wrong city, wrong whatever it was. It was wrong this. Until what happened one day, Joel, was a friend of mine phones me up and he says, I am in the greatest business of all time. It's right on trend. And I'm actually making a fortune right now. I am making close to $20,000 a month. It wasn't network marketing or anything. I'm going, oh my God. In those days, like 10,000 would be ridiculous. And I said, what are you doing? And he told me what he's doing. And he said, this is the hottest business right now. You got to get into it. I said, you're right. I'm doing it. So I started it. And 6 months later, he was a multimillionaire. He started with nothing, just like me. 6 months later, he was a multimillionaire already. And me, I was still broke. And I looked in the mirror that day, changed my life. I said, oh my God, maybe it's not the business. Maybe it's me. And my heart just sank. And I realized right there, this flash of brilliance, everyone else had this brilliance, but me, came into my view. And I said, you know what? It's not just the race car. It's the driver too. And maybe I'm not a very good driver. And it pained me to say that. It was so brutal. But I started looking and focusing on me, my habits, my character, my mindset, my own productivity. And man, did I ever start seeing some lack there, which I never noticed before. And then I started working on me heavily, not just my knowledge, my skills, but me as a person. And I'll tell you what, once I started getting me, the driver, in shape, mentally and emotionally, and my mindset correct, and my character correct, then the next business, even though I had some principles that started working really well, boom, in 2.5 years, I became a millionaire, and I learned a very, very hard lesson.
Wow, there you go. I think it's amazing. I had the opportunity to speak with Tony Robbins last week, who is also a good friend of yours. And, Tony said to me that the biggest advantage that you can have in business is truth. And the only way that you can gain truth is through experience. And, what you're telling me, you're sharing your story with me on how you failed and you had the ups and downs and now you finally cracked it. I think that a lot of people are able to relate to that. If you just went out there and you made $1 million straight away, most people wouldn't be able to relate to that, right?
I'm sure that they can't, but I prefer that it would have been that way. Definitely. I was trying everything, and I would have loved to become a millionaire in the first shot at 21 years old, but it didn't happen. And sure, so everybody needs to understand this. There's two elements. Well, you know what? I'm gonna have everyone do this. I do trainings. Obviously, I have over 1.5 million students, 38 countries around the world. And so now, why I do these trainings, because people used to say to me, hey, so what changed for you? How did you become a millionaire literally overnight when nothing else was working? And so I say, so this is what I did when I was broke. This is what I do when I'm rich. I'll tell you the difference. It's all I can do. But, one of the biggest things is if people have a chance to have a pencil in hand, or they can just visualize a triangle, an upside down triangle, I would like everybody to understand this. On the left-hand corner, I want you to put RV, and that stands for right vehicle the right time. And on the top right-hand corner, I want you to put RK, and that stands for right knowledge and right skills. And on the very bottom, though, the very bottom point, I want you to put RY, and that stands for right you. And I'm going to tell you this: everyone makes success in business so complicated. Because remember, I told you, I went to all the seminars, all the books, all that blah, blah. Nothing worked for me. So the thing that I think people seem to relate with me is that I didn't finish college because I was too in a hurry to get rich. And I don't have the greatest vocabulary in the entire world. And I keep it pretty simple. But you know what? I like simple because for me, I can't understand it when it's complicated. And for me, simple is usable, and interesting is, and complicated is interesting. And I'd rather have usable than interesting any day of the week. So there's only 3 elements, everyone, that you need to understand for success. 3, not 20 and not 15 and not 1. There's 3. And I just gave you the 3. These are the 3 things that have to be in place, okay? You have to have the right vehicle at the right time. If you've got a dog vehicle, if you're in a jalopy business, something that's going downhill versus everything going uphill, the trends are not with it, et cetera, it's not in high demand, you're going to struggle. You'll make it, but you'll struggle, okay? If you've got the right vehicle, you still have to have the right knowledge. There's 2 types of knowledge, everyone. Please listen. You have to have generalized business knowledge if you're doing business, generalized business knowledge, which means knowledge about business in general. So if you talk about negotiations, that's general business knowledge. Finance, how you do the financing, marketing, that's all primarily generalized business knowledge. You have to have that. But you also have to have specific business knowledge. And that means the knowledge specifically of the business that you're going into and that you're involved in. And what I like to tell people is, if at all possible, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go work for somebody in the business that you're thinking of getting into before you get into it. This is an interesting statistic. I cannot say about the rest of the world because I'm not in the rest of the world, and I apologize for that. But I can tell you North American statistics, and that is that 88% of all new businesses fail within the first 3 years. 88%. That means only 12% succeed. However, there is one caveat to that, and that is if the person who started that business was in that business working for someone else prior to being in and opening that new business, 69% of those succeed. That is like 7 times more, 700% more success rate by being in a business and then opening a niche within that business that you already know. So what that means is you have to have knowledge, you have to have business knowledge, generalized business knowledge. You have to be a hot marketer, you have to be a hot negotiator, you have to understand finance and how to read the books, et cetera, okay? And you have to have business specific knowledge. All right, I'm in the training business. And people say that, hey, what do you have to know for training, for speaking? Well, you have to be a strong trainer. I happen to be, humbly, hopefully, one of the top accelerated learning trainers in the world. I use a very specific technique. I got taught this 28 years ago, and I've taught over 45,000 other people how to use this methodology. But it's a way that allows you to learn faster, remember more, and have a much more enjoyable experience. And so very few people use this except for people that we taught. So literally, that's a business specific thing. Now the last of the 3. So I got right vehicle, the right knowledge, and you got to have the right you. If you don't have a mindset that is set for success, you're done. It's over. If you don't have a character that it will support success, it's over. And if you don't have habits that will support success, it's over. It doesn't matter if you're driving a race car and you know everything about how to drive. But if your habits and your mindset and your character is not up to snuff, you'll never make it. And if you do, you'll struggle like crazy. However, if you put those 3 things together, and the base of that is the right you, remember, I want to say this, write this down if you can. Otherwise, memorize it, okay? You are the root of your success. That's why you're on the point at the bottom. You are the root of your success. If you take the right you out of there, it doesn't matter what business you're in. If you make any money, you'll blow it quickly. If you have a huge success, you'll lose it quickly. You've got to have all those 3 things in place. And if you skimp on any of them, you're going to struggle. If you put attention on all of those, which is one of the things that you're doing with Addicted to Success, I'm sure, where you're involved in all 3, especially on the right you, especially on the right knowledge, right? If you put attention on all those 3 areas, you will succeed. You have to. Let me give you a quick example of why you are guaranteed, promised to succeed if you put all those 3 things in place. I mean, you will succeed. You will be rich. Okay? You go, that's impossible to promise. Really? Okay, so you've got the right business at the right time. You have all the business knowledge, and you have the right business specific knowledge. So you know everything you need to know about your business and business in general. Okay. Now, what would stop you from succeeding? Who knows? Yeah, it could be an earthquake. It could be your partner stole from you. It could be a lot of crazy ass things that could happen, right? You say, you're not guaranteed to succeed. Yes, but you've got the character, and that character will never, ever, ever give up. Never. We believe in something I teach called correct and continue. There's a problem, you just make a correction and you continue, and you never, ever, ever give up. There's another philosophy I teach. It's called learn and do. Again, the only two key elements as far as success. You learn something and then you put it into practice. You learn more, you put that into practice. You learn more, you put that into practice. See, nobody comes out of the womb being successful, okay? Everybody, I always say in my books, every master was once a disaster, right? Everybody who's great at something now was once terrible at it, weren't they? Right? Even the Olympic skier, when the first day they put on skis, they fell all over the place, right? So everybody was terrible, but they learned and then they put it into practice. Learn, do, learn, do, learn, do. If you add one more thing to that, which is you keep on doing that until you succeed, you never give up, you will succeed. Nothing will stop you, okay? So there might be some, what quote unquote, people call failures. I never call it failures. Learnings, times you didn't succeed as well as you'd like to, et cetera, et cetera. But if you never give up and you're strong in your knowledge and you keep up with that knowledge and you have a great vehicle and you keep up with making sure you have your vehicle that's in today's times and you have the great character, you're going to make it. You will make it, okay? So don't keep wondering, well, I don't know why it's so hard for me. You know why it's hard for you? Because one of those three things is not in place. Or for mostly, I'm going to say this right now, and I hope you don't hate me for it, but if you do, that's nothing I can do about it. For most people I know, all three things need a lot of work.
Yes, that is the truth. That's the truth. Thanks for that, Harv. The right vehicle, right knowledge, right you. I love that. The Addicted to Success community are very focused on working smart and working with simplified programs. Can you tell us a little bit more about your accelerated learning program? That sounds interesting.
Well, that's simply a method of teaching. I don't run that. I teach in that method. When I started, I never liked school. Formal school. I just never did. I mean, I could handle it, but I spent more days out of class than I did in class with my friends and whatever. I was just one of those people. Yeah. But I love learning. And so I just hated the style of learning. It was so, here's a book, read from page 46 to 97, memorize the thing, and your test is on Friday. Well, that's crap, to me. Some people like it, but that's not mine. So it wasn't fun. It wasn't experiential. And so when I started, people started asking me, how did you become a millionaire so quickly? I just knew you 2 years ago. You were broke, and here you are. So I started putting together, and everyone started asking me. Everyone. I had hundreds of people that I knew going, oh my God, where'd you get this car? How'd you get this house? And what happened? I knew you didn't even have a car. You were riding on the bus. You kept bumming rides and borrowing money. I go, I know. And so they kept on asking me. And so I put together a program, but I wanted to do it in a way that I felt that would be very, very more that I believed in. And so there's a thing called super learning that came out. And so I became an expert at super learning, and that's the way I teach.
Ah, nice. I'm going to have to go to more of your courses, Harv. This sounds really interesting. Now, I know that one of the events that I went to of yours, which was the NAC with Tony Robbins, Donald Trump, Robert Kiyosaki, I do remember you talking a lot about your money blueprint and also the subconscious mind. So what is the most effective technique to tap into your subconscious mind?
Okay, I'm going to be blunt and then I'll work backwards, okay? The most effective technique, being blunt, is you have to go through a reprogramming exercise experience, okay? And it's challenging to do that on your own because, there's a saying that says you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. I'll say that again. You can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. So as you know, we're all brilliant when it comes to somebody else. When it comes to ourselves, we're not so brilliant anymore, right? So it's hard for us to be objective. But We have a program called the Millionaire Mind Intensive. It's all over the world. Check it out online if you want, and go to that program. That program is a 3-day event where you will be reprogrammed into supportive beliefs and ways of thinking around money, success, and wealth, versus most people have a lot of viruses in the way they think. Their computer is corrupt, and when it gets to a certain point, it blows up. And so that's the first way, and that's the number one way I know. That's why I created that program. It's a doing program. You will be reprogrammed there. If you choose not to go to that, great, fine. You can read the book Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. That will be very helpful. If you want to do something on your own, then there's 3 elements to start considering. The 3 elements of change. Number 1 is awareness. Number 2 is understanding, and number 3 is reconditioning. So let's start with awareness. Most of these things are kind of obvious, except for the person who's, thinking that way, right? Mm-hmm. But if I said to you, that I believe that, I listen to the news, and I listen to the government, and I listen to, whether it's Obama or the prime minister or whatever, they've got it in for rich people, right? They make it sound like they don't like rich people, except for when they're donating to them, obviously, right? And so, because most people aren't rich, so they have to make rich people, demonize them and make them bad in order to get the votes from the majority that aren't rich, right? Let's make them bad so they'll be on our side, and we'll try and attract the everybody else, the middle class and the broke people. Great, which is the bulk of the people. So they demonize rich people, they make them seem bad, etc. But if you believe that rich people are bad in any way, shape, or form, then guess what? You can never be rich. If you want to be a good person, you can never be rich. Why would you be something you think is bad? That simple thing will change your entire life. So when I was with some friends in Monaco several years ago, and I was already doing good, but they weren't. But they were old time friends, and we were there. We met up and everything, and we go into the casino, and there, Monaco's got like more Ferraris than Australia, Canada, and U.S. combined in like one tiny little town. I mean, every third car is a Ferrari. I mean, it really is. It's ridiculous. It's like, so there's a right in front of the stairs, the big casino, there's a red Ferrari, a gorgeous one, brand new, with the spoilers and everything, right in front, like not parked anywhere, just left in front. Obviously, the valet guy put it there, whatever. It's a nice show, whatever. And my 2 friends went, "Look at that jackass. What a guy. Show off, trying to show he's got a Ferrari," because we saw the guy leave, right? Show he's got a Ferrari. What a jerk, And we went in there and everything, and then and they were talking to me after, and we had coffee after, and they said, "Yeah, we're having troubles. We're wanting." I said, "No wonder you're having troubles. The way you describe this person who came out of this Ferrari as a jerk, you don't even know this person. You don't know how many people he helps. You don't know how he made his money. He might have struggled for 35, 40 years working his buns off and finally got himself a little toy that he's proud of maybe. You don't know anything. And here you are demonizing him, putting him down because he's rich. You will never be rich. You need to bless this person, admire this person, and love this person for the fact that he was successful enough to get himself this car. It's as simple as that, okay? Because success is not easy, everybody. And anybody who has success come really easily to them, you're very fortunate and you should appreciate it. But you also better watch out because it may leave you as quickly as it came, okay? Success is not a walk in the park. 98% of everyone who doesn't inherit their money has to work their ass off for years and decades and have the things in place and scrambling just like you've been doing, okay, with the right vehicle, the right knowledge, and the right self, working on constantly on it for them to be successful. Success in any arena at the highest levels is massively challenging. You want to be an Olympic athlete? You think that's going to come easy? Try 8 hours a day for the next 10 years. That's how easy that is, okay? You want to be at the highest levels of success and wealth and business? Try 8 or 10 hours a day for the next 10 years. That's how easy. That's at perfection, okay? So don't be giving me any crap about rich people are bad. Every rich person I know is about the nicest ones, some of the nicest people I know, and they all work their asses off to get there, and I'm one of them.
Wow, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. T. Harv just laid the smack down. That's so true. It's so true. You got to work your ass off. Now, what has been the standout lesson that's been passed on to you that somebody else has taught you that maybe may have been your mentor or somebody that you've collaborated with in the past? What's a standout lesson?
Don't BS yourself. You can BS other people. We do it all the time, but don't BS yourself. Here's a big one. It's called productivity. Now, am I a maven on productivity? No. But like I said, most things are pretty common sense. You know, you can determine for yourself if you have thoughts and beliefs that are not healthy towards rich and success. You can know for yourself if you're mostly negative versus positive. Negative people have a harder time than positive people. I'm telling you that right now. I'm not talking about being Pollyanna and going, oh, everything's just wonderful. But you know what? If you think everything is bad, then guess what? You're going to create that. You're going to attract that crap to yourself. You're going to become what I call a crap magnet, because we do that to ourselves. So I think one of the biggest things is don't BS yourself. Look at yourself truly. And one of the things that I find right now when I've been going around, like I said, I only teach once a year right now, but I have a coaching program and I have a life makeover program that's really, really, really hot and changes people's lives really quickly because it changed my life. That's how I create programs. And so I talk to a lot of people still, on Skype and on the phone, and I hear their stories and I hear that stuff, but most of the stuff's all story. And I ask them very pertinent questions. I go, so you worked today. How long did you work today? They go, I worked for 9 hours. I go, really? Okay. Tell me what you did for the 9 hours. Well, and they go through, I go, well, that doesn't sound like 9 hours. It sounds like about 2 hours. Were you on email today? They go, yeah. I go, how many emails, what percentage of emails did you answer today that weren't urgent or necessary for the exact thing you were working on today? They all laugh. They go, well, I have to answer my emails. I go, yeah, how many? Oh, yeah, like 60 emails, How many were pertinent to exactly what you wrote down you would do today productive-wise? They go, well, maybe 2. I go, well, okay, so you wasted 58 emails. What took you 2-3 hours right there. Then a lot of people work from home. They're in the kitchen half the time. They're on the phone. They're texting. They're on Facebook. They're on surfing the web. It's become harder and harder and harder with all these distractions to actually be productive and forget about 8 hours of productive work in a day. How about 3 hours? Most people can't even put 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? And you wonder why you're not cutting it? Well, if I said to you, okay, my goal is to be really successful and really rich. And for that, what are you going to do for that, Harv? Well, I guarantee I'm going to put 2 hours of work in every day, 5 days a week. And you're going to laugh. You're going to go, are you nuts? There's no chance you're ever going to be rich and successful at 2 hours a day. Well, no, well, why not? Because 2 hours a day just doesn't put enough of that energy of work out there, that energy of, I'm going to remind me for a second, and I'll in a moment to teach everyone how to make a lot of money. Okay, just don't forget that. Okay, so so it doesn't have enough energy out there to do well. And you say, well, wait a minute, I don't work 2 hours a day, and I'm going to look everyone almost right in the eye right now and say, if you're like 90% of the people I know, you'd be hard pressed to figure out more than 2 hours a day of actual productive work on what you're supposed to be doing today that would give you the biggest bang for the buck today. I doubt it. So that's one thing that I believe in. Most people BS themselves all day long about how much they're working, how productive they are, are they covering their priorities, or is it busy work? I just did in one of my blogs something that seemed to be extremely popular. It seemed to hit a nerve. And it was called, I want to share with your audience, it's called, What's Your Big Kahuna? I have another home in Hawaii, and I spend 3 months of the year there in Maui. And, kahuna is like the big fish, your big thing, okay? And here's the thing, everybody. You have a lot of busy work that you're doing, and you have a lot of business stuff that you need to take care of and maintain, et cetera, et cetera. And you're working on some projects maybe for your business, but there's always one big thing that you could be working on, and I call it the big kahuna if it could be massive. It could be the big thing. It's not the, and could really spurt your growth. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So I have been training for 23 years. And, for the first, and I was into training, not writing books and all that, just writing courses and stuff like that. And everyone said, Harv, when are you coming out with a book? When are you coming out with a book? And I said, I don't have time to come out with a book because, I'm training so much. I'm always on the road. And this is, several years ago. And they said, okay, fine. And in my mind, listen to this, in my mind, the books didn't do anything because it wasn't accelerated learning. It wasn't super learning. So you couldn't get the experience of it. So it couldn't change your cellular structure. And that was in my belief system. And so finally I said to myself, you know what, for me to go on another level, I really, really need to get 2, 3, 4 times the number of people in my programs. And I already had 400 or 500 people in my programs, literally almost every weekend somewhere. And so I said, but I really, this is working for people. And as my mission, I really want to develop a lot more people in this and get more people to learn this because this is the key to success. And so I said, what is my big kahuna? What would make the difference between doubling and tripling and quadrupling the number of people in my room? What would do it? And I said, it's either an infomercial or a best-selling book. And so you know what I did? I did both. And yeah, it took me, you say, well, it takes some focus away from my business, my mainstay of my business. And you know what? I couldn't afford to do that. So you know what I did? I worked twice as much. Well, how much is that? Oh, being honest with you, probably on average of 14 to 16 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week for about a year and a half. That's a lot of time. I worked and I slept and that was it. Hey, Harv, I don't want to do that. Fine, you don't have to do it. And don't talk to me about being successful either.
Yes.
Okay? Don't talk to me about being wealthy either. Okay? Because you don't have to do that either. But here's the thing. And so I came out with that book. And I had a strong promotional tool within that book. And literally within 3 months of that book hitting, my average crowd was between 1,700 and 2,500 per seminar every weekend.
Wow.
I went from 500 and 600 to 20 to 2,000 at a shot. Did my income quadruple? No, it multiplied by about 50 times. Why? Because my expenses were already covered in the first, right? You already have base expenses. And so I was making a freaking fortune because I had the book. Did I make a fortune off the book? No. And 10 years later, I still make about 100,000 a quarter off the book, but that's like nothing, okay, compared to what I normally make. And so that was my big kahuna, getting that book done, even though, Joel, I didn't have time to do it because I was so busy with my business. Then what I did is, after the book, I put together an infomercial and, on television and everything like that. And did that work out? It worked out fairly well, not as well as the book, but it worked out fairly well. But I'll tell you what happened with it. What happened with it is that someone saw me on television and decided that I should have my own special on television, and they put me on that. And then saw me on that and decided that they should bring me international, and now I'm in 39 different countries. So I always say this, it's better to do than not do. You're not going to strike a home run on everything, but everything can lead to something else. And what I'm asking everybody to do is, what's your big kahuna? What's the one thing you could do within your business that would double or quadruple your business? Is it a book? Is it putting all your focus and energy on marketing? Is it starting an online thing or an offline thing? What is it for you? How will you become popular? How will your business become popular? Is it joint venturing with another huge company? Is it getting an account with Walmart or Sunoco Oil or something? Is it the big? What's your big one? Well, I don't have time to do all that. You have to make that time. And that's one of the things that we teach in Life Makeover. And we create the time for you to do the big stuff that's going to make you rich. I hope that helps.
No, that absolutely helps. Thank you so much for sharing that insight with us, Harv. I know what you're talking about. I have a idea in the back of my head. I'm ready to put pen to paper and work on a book. And the reason being is because, your book is like a business card. A lot of people think that when they write their book, they're going to make a ton of money It doesn't always happen like that. If it does, more power to you. But it's one of those things where you just need to, that it's going to be challenging, but you know that you need to get into it. You've got to get into the trenches and you've got to commit.
Yeah, and then you know what a lot of people, Joel, they say, well, if I write a book, I'll just get a ghostwriter to write it. Well, go ahead, you can do that. A lot of people do that. I don't do that. Why? Because it's my book. And my book has my philosophy and my tone and my voice and my opinions in it. And it doesn't have somebody who vanillaed the entire thing and turned the thing generic. Because I'm not vanilla. And my book would have sold like 2 copies if I didn't write it myself, instead of 2.6 million copies.
Yeah, and what happens if somebody else did write your book and it did go big time, and then you get invited to go out and speak on stages and jump on television? I mean, what happens then?
Yeah.
You're in the...
It won't go big time. You don't have to worry about it.
That's a good point.
Won't go big time. I mean, you think Donald Trump makes you, we talked about Donald Trump earlier, who we met, when I was down in Australia, and we became, acquaintances and went golfing and everything. So, but do you think his books makes him any money? No. Has his book sold anything? No. Robert Kiyosaki, when he's with them, does pretty well, but because it's Kiyosaki, it's not Trump. Why? Because Trump, when he's with Kiyosaki, they don't write their book. Some ghostwriter sits down with them for 4 hours, does an interview with them, and then writes a book. Those books do nothing. Okay, they're not you. Okay. They're just a book. You need to put yourself in the book and yourself in everything that you're doing. I know, but it takes so much time. Then prioritize. Don't do everything. I hope you get a chance to do my life makeover program, because we'll work with you on that. You'll do the most important things, I promise you. You were going to remind me of something. Do you remember what it was? Because I want to make sure your followers and your audience get this piece, because I like teaching this. I actually go to different parts of the world when I go, mostly to teach this part. Even when I do a Million Mind Intensive, by the way, I only do a few hours of it. I have 9 other trainers that go around the world doing all the courses. It's all systemized, and I kind of, reap the rewards of, and that, by the way, that's okay. I'll teach you that in a minute here, of how to do that. But this piece is so important that I never let anybody else teach this course. Teach this section of the course, only me. And if I'm not there, then the section is not there. And it's not in 99% of every course. It's only when I'm there.
So this is about making lots and lots of money, right?
Yeah, about how to make a lot of money. Does anybody you think want to know of your group?
I think everyone would like to know. More money, more power, more freedom, right? Why not? So how do we do it, Harv?
Yeah. All right. Well, first of all, you said more money, more power, more freedom. I'll agree with the money and I'll agree with the freedom, but the power has to be internal power, not external power.
Yeah, that's
I'm not a big believer in external power over other people. I'm a believer of internal power over yourself, and then everything else will become natural for you, okay? So, all right, let's talk about money. Let's talk about how to make a lot of money. Okay, so you constantly ask me this question, Harv, how do I make money? How do I make money? And the first thing you have to realize is that you don't make money. The only people who actually make money work at the mint. The rest of us have to what? We have to earn money. So the best question isn't how to make money, it's how do I earn more money? How do I earn money? And that's a very good distinction there. So how do you earn money? All right, let's take this and break it down very quickly. I ask in my seminars, I go, let me ask you this question. Where does all your money come from? And most people can't answer that question. They don't know where it comes from. People go, God, the sky, energy, the universe. If you're a good person, if you run a good business, if you have a good product. None of that's true. Where does all your money have to come from? It has to come from other people. Humans are the only other element in this universe that uses the currency called money. And money is simply a representation of value that is a convenience, so you don't have to drag your cows around to trade for somebody else's bread that they baked, okay? But it's only a currency that humans have. Cows don't have it, sky doesn't have it, trees don't have it, energy doesn't have it, nothing has it, just other humans. Are we with me so far?
Yes.
So all the money you get has to come from someone else. Got it? Mm-hmm. Good. You're a human, you're a person. Why would you give somebody your hard-earned money? The answer is, go ahead.
To offer them value?
The answer is, right. Well, you don't walk into someone and go, hey, do you have value for me? right? We don't speak in those terms. I told you, I like to keep things really simple, and my students like it when I keep things really, really simple, and dumb it down for people like me, okay? So I understand what to do. So nice and simple. The only reason you're going to give somebody your money is if they primarily solve a big or little problem for you. That's the number one reason people give someone else their money. Even entertainment, it solves the problem of boredom, doesn't it? Okay? So now you know primarily what people are paying for. They're paying for a problem being solved for them, right? So now the question becomes, how do you make money? So what are you? Well, the definition of an entrepreneur, everybody write this down, whether you get home and write it or after. The definition of an entrepreneur or a person even in a job is a person who solves problems for people at a profit or for pay. A person who solves problems for people at a profit or for pay. So what are you? You are basically a problem solver. So how do you make money? You make money by what? Solving problems. So where do you have to put your attention? On money? No! This is the big mistake everyone makes. Oh, I want to earn a lot more money, so I can put my attention on money. No, that's silly. That's silly. Put your attention on money and see what happens. Nothing can happen because you're not getting to the root cause of what creates money. Money is a result. Money is a result. Money is a result. A result of what? A result of someone giving you their money because you solved a problem for them. That's what it is. Where do you have to put your attention? On solving a problem for someone. That's where your attention goes. Now, what problem do you solve for people? How do you make money? You solve one problem for one person, and they will give you some money. So now you know how to make some money. You solve one problem for one person. Got it? I'm a massage therapist. And how do I make money? Well, this person, I know this guy, Sam, and he says he's got a really bad back and it hurts him, and I think I can help him. Sam, come on in. I'll trade you an hour and a half of my time for $100, and I will help solve your problem. I'll alleviate some pain. Would you like to do that? Sam goes, sure, that sounds really good. Here's my 100. Here's your hour and a half of my massage. Hey, that really helped. Thank you. You now have $100, okay? And you spend an hour and a half, and now you know how to make money. So what do? You do it again. Now you can talk to Sue and talk to Phil and talk to Bob and talk to Greta, and you say, listen, I'm going to trade you my massage. I'm going to alleviate your pain for $100, okay? And they go, great idea. So now you know how to make some money, and now you know how to make, a bit more money, because now you have 8 people coming to you. Everyone understand, right? So now the question becomes, how do you go from making some money to a lot of money? Well, it depends on your definition of a lot of money, but for me, a lot of money is a lot of money, okay? Like, hundreds of thousands, millions, whatever. Well, what do you have to do? I just gave you the answer, everybody. What do you have to do? If you want to make some money, solve one problem for one person. If you want to make a lot of money, what do you have to do? Solve a what? Lot of what? Problems for what? A lot of people. If you want to make some money, solve one problem for one person. If you want to make a lot of money, solve one problem for a lot of people. Okay? And here's the thing. Don't solve a lot of problems for a lot of people. Don't do that. Okay? That's not a good idea. Why? Too complicated. You have too many products, too many elements, too many things going on. You can do, listen, everyone who ever got rich in one arena. And then they diversified after. Okay, let me say that again. Everybody who ever got rich doing one thing. They solved a problem for one person, then they solved it for 10, then for 20, then for 100, then for 1,000, then for 10,000, then for 100,000, then for 1,000,000. That's how you get rich. Understand, everybody? Now, so you're going, well, wait a minute. So how do I know what problem to solve? Well, great question. Well, start with what problem do you want to solve for people? Well, Harv, I'm not even in that business. Well, maybe that's why you're not doing so good, okay? What problem do you want to solve for people that people actually have that you can solve? So 2 questions. What would you like to help people with? And what do you have an ability to help people with? See, I could like to help people with their gardening, but I don't have an ability in that. And I could also have an ability in gardening, but I don't really like it that much. So why should I do it? Guys, you have one life. See, if you put together what you would love to help people with, and what you're good at helping people with the people who actually need you to be helped, guess what? You're going to be rich. You're going to be rich. Okay? Because the biggest problem people have is they focus on the money instead of focusing on solving this problem with high quality in a way that really works for people. Really works for people. And then systemizing, and everybody write this down, once you can solve the problem for someone and then a few people, now what happens? You start running out of time, right? Or so even if it's a product, that's why products are better, because they don't have your own time involved. And that's why I'm not a big fan of personal service companies, but you can still make it, okay? So you solve a problem for people, one problem, and then the idea is you now systemize. Now, let me go back here. I want to say something first. The idea then is you now have to solve it for a lot of people. Remember I said that. So how do you solve it for a lot of people? Well, so you have to duplicate in order to solve for a lot of people. So when I was in the fitness stores, for example, I had one store, and I solved the fitness problem, at least helped a lot of people in that arena for, I don't know, maybe about, an average of like 15 people, 20 people a day. So I make 15, let's say my average ticket was I make $200. I make, let's say 20 times 200, right? So, that's $2,000 minus cost. I may make, $300-400. So now I have to figure out a way to help not 20 people a day. I have to help 100 people a day. How do I do that? Well, one of those ways was I opened 5 more stores. Well, I opened 10 more stores, actually, but I opened 5 more stores, right? I opened 4 in one day. 5 more stores. Now I was helping 100 people, you see? But so I duplicated, right? But I ran into a problem. What was the problem, everybody, that you could see when I was running the stores and I was helping everybody and I was selling on the floor and showing people exercises and everything like that? What was the problem I would run into as soon as I opened my second store? The problem was that I couldn't divide myself. And what happened over the 5th store, the 10th store? Oh, okay. So here's the thing. You must, after you recognize what problem that you have, that you can solve really works for people and what they're willing to pay you for, and you want to help a lot more people, you now must, here it is, write this down, systemize the business so that it runs without you. The transactions must run without you, or you are stuck dead in the water. What if every transaction had to take me, Harv, in the fitness stores? There's no way I could have expanded. I would be finished. It's over. 20 people, that's all I can help. What about my massage therapist? How many hours can they work? 24? Okay, let's say they don't even sleep. So let's say you only give people an hour massage, 24 massages a day. That's it. How can you help 100 people? You can't. Can't help 100 people in a day. You have to systemize it so it can work without you. Those of you who have a business where that business, I know you might have the administrative elements, the marketing elements, et cetera. Those will have to be systemized as well. However, but if you can't start by that transaction itself without you being there, you are screwed. You're screwed. You can never make a lot of money because you can't help a lot of people. You understand? So where does your focus have to be? It has to be on how do I solve this problem for hundreds, for thousands, for hundreds of thousands of people. And when you can develop a methodology, a system for doing that, I promise you, will be rich.
Wow, that is awesome advice, Harv. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So essentially, you're saying that we should be changing our perspective and also removing that limiting way of looking at things. Or
exactly. Sometimes, in our meetings, my son Jesse works with me, and he'll say, well, what can we offer people after they finish this course? We have this and we have that and we have that we could offer them. And I go, that's not the question we want to ask here. The question we want to ask is, what do they need next? That's the question we want to ask. It's not what do we have, it's what do they need? Okay, and we will develop what they need. Then we know it will work. Then we know it'll sell because they need it. Don't just go off the shelf and give them what you got. Yeah. Find out what will really work for these people. And I'm not kidding around. whatever you've got, if you're in a business right now that's only so-so, the quality of what you do is only so-so, mediocre, I guarantee your business and your income is going to be mediocre. You've got to be a level 10 out of 10. Okay? There's no way I'm putting out a training. I've been working on one training. It took me, the training I'm teaching right now in my life makeover took me 2.5 years to develop because it was all experimentation on myself. I mean, it's myself. Okay, 2.5 years is a long time to develop a program. All right. And now I'm working on a program that has been literally 6 years in the making. And why? Because it will not have my name on it if it isn't a 12 out of 10. And if it doesn't really, really help people. I just came back from India. I went there to teach, but I also went there for 7 weeks to meet with swamis about this program that I'm doing and this topic that I'm doing to see if it met with their philosophy as well. I've met with the top psychologists in the world. I've met with the top gurus. I've met with the top PhDs and doctors, and I've met with Joe Blow. And I want to make sure that everything I'm talking about, the principles relate and make sense and are in fact provable before I put my name and I start solving that problem for one person other than myself. And it's working for me fantastically. And so now I'm getting pretty close to where I'm going, I might just put 10 people in a room and gift them this and see what happens. Make sure before I start putting 1 million people in a room again. So make sure you've got major quality in what you do. And don't settle for anything less than a level 10 out of 10 in everything that you do. And that quality will come back. There's a saying I have, everyone listen to this and write this down. To get paid the best, you must be the best. I'll say it again. To get paid the best, you must be the best. The reason most people don't get paid the best is because they're not the best. But I'll tell you what, if you take a look at every single industry and you take a look at the very best people in that industry, that business, I guarantee they're wealthy. I guarantee it. There's not one industry, don't give me one industry, where the top 5 people in the entire industry, they're not wealthy. They are wealthy beyond compare. Why? Because they are amazing at all the elements of what they do, including the administrative part, especially including the production part, and including the marketing part. Write this down, everybody. 3 elements to business. I gave you before 3 elements of success. These are 3 elements that have to be in place in every business. Write it down. Number 1, these 3 things. Number 1, production. Product, okay? Number 2, administration, the operations of the business. And number 3, marketing. By the way, finance goes with operations. Those are the only 3 parts to every business. If you have more than 3 parts, you've complicated your business. Divide your business into those 3 parts. Production/product, operations, including finance, and marketing. Now, everybody, the fact that you have to have a level 10 product at a level 10 is a given. If you don't, you'll suffer, okay? Don't stop improving your product and making it work until you have a level 10. Don't put out schlock, okay? You'll get known for schlock and you'll earn schlock. Where do most people put most of their time and energy? I'm going to give you the statistics. Most people put 71% of all their time and energy into operations. I mean, I got to run my business. I got to do this. I got to do this. I'm putting out fires and this and all this stuff. And then they put a little bit of time into production, and hopefully they have some time for some marketing and sales. Let me say this right now. Everyone who does that, you're broke, and you will be broke for the rest of your life. Why? There's no money in operations and there's no money in administration. All the money is in marketing. Okay? There's only 2 pieces of the transaction that anybody cares about. Remember, you're solving a problem, right? So you got a product or a service that solves a problem, and you need to make that transaction. You need to let people know that you have that product. If you don't let people know you got that great product, you're dead. If you let people know you have a product and it's not great, you're also dead. Why would you want to tell everybody you got a crappy product, okay, or service? So those 2 things must be in place: great product or service and great marketing. Nobody cares about your operations. Nobody cares about your administration. Nobody cares about your finance. Nobody cares about anything to do with your business. They only care about the product you give them and did they find out about it and what package was it in. Okay, that's the marketing. I'm going to give you something that I've worked on with my students for years and years, and they say it makes the biggest difference. And that is, I want everybody right now to commit. Here's the word, commit, to changing your time priorities in your business and putting, I'm not kidding you here, putting 20% of your time and energy into the operations and administration to make sure it's systemized and it's going well. That includes personnel and finance, all that stuff. 20% of your time into constantly improving your product or service, making it better and better and better and better and better. And then I want you to put 60% of all of your time and energy and money into marketing and sales. If you do that, you'll be rich. If you don't, you'll struggle.
Wow. That is golden, Harv. That is golden.
Hey, Joe, you're the one who asked me what I'm doing different now than what I did for 12 years when I was broke, right? Now I've told you.
There you go. The secret's out. Look, Harv, you've delivered so much value over this almost 1 hour of advice. And look, you know, we have in the Addicted to Success community a lot of people that are in the self-development industry. They're trainers, coaches, authors, and you just have over-delivered in all areas. So I've got to thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
More than welcome.
Thanks, Harv. So how can we tap into what you're doing right now? How can we get our hands on your products or go along to one of your courses?
Well, there's a lot, quite a few are available, but let me say something here. One of the things that I've been working on myself, and again, all I teach is what works on me and for me. I never read a bunch of books and then put them together and then teach a course on it. I just don't do that. Other people do, and that's great. Power to them. It's fine. It's all great if they can put in their own slant, but I don't do that. One of the issues I was having was with balance in my life, and I felt like I just wasn't living my full life. Every time there was something missing. If my business was going good, then my family situation, the amount of time I had for my family wasn't there, or I wouldn't be in shape. And if I started getting into shape, then business suffers. And then I want to go to my spiritual source on Sundays, and I get so busy. So it was like, how on earth do I have a full life? How do I have all the pieces in place? My health, my business, my money, my relationships, my friendships, my spiritual. How do I do that? I feel like I'm living a tenth of my life. And I recognized that this was a big problem. And it came from a few beliefs that I had that weren't working. And so finally, after literally, as I said earlier, 2.5 years of trial and error and trial and error, and then trial and trial, and hey, this is working, and trial, and this is working better, I finally put it together. And I realized that there's some critical elements to putting together the life that you really want. And most people don't have that life. 90% of people, Joel, don't really live the life that they totally want. And that's because they don't have the knowledge and the skills and a system with which to create that life. We never got taught how to do this. It's always, I hope I'll get rich, and I'm working hard on my business, and Harv just told me to work harder, and well, what about my kids? And oh my God, like, how am I supposed to do this? And so I developed this program, and it's my newest program called the Life Makeover System. And I call it that because it made over my life, and it worked for me. And now it's worked for thousands of my students. And I really just started it literally about a year ago. And like the people they come in droves. It's all referral based pretty well. And in this program, it's an online experiential webinar where you'll not only learn the skill of life design, but I personally walk you through every part of this workable life design formula right there on the spot in the webinar. So I walk you right through the system. And I want to teach as I'm going along right now too for just a moment, because I want to, even if people decide they don't want to go on it for some reason or whatever, but there's 3 things you have to, at least there's 8 questions that have to be answered, but 3 of them you must answer from the beginning. Number 1, what do you really want? Not what you say you want, not what's on your laundry list or on your resolutions list every year, not that. What do you really want? And we get down to it. What's in the depths of your heart and your soul? And the second question, because it's all about clarity, and clarity leads to power. Okay. And the second question is a question, write this down, everybody. It's a question that nobody else asks. Nobody ever asks us. And until I asked myself this question, I spent about almost 2 years floundering around. And then I came up with this question, and that changed everything. And here was the question. Well, Harv or Joe or Bob or whatever, if you say you want that, and it's probably not the first time you've ever said it, so why don't you already have it? Wow. And that gets you to your big blocker. You see, why don't you already have it? Well, because blah, blah, blah. But when you get down to it, we all have a big blocker. Like a big kahuna on the good side, we have a big blocker on the not so good side. And you've got to be able to recognize it, and then we show you how to alleviate it. And then the next pieces of it start getting into what do you need to do to get what you want. And then we start getting into strategies, actions, et cetera, et cetera. But first, you've got to get clear. Secondly, you've got to remove your big blocker. And guess what? Guess who's the only one that can't see your big blocker?
You.
Right, you. Of course, right? And so this life makeover system has just been off the charts as far as popularity, as far as feedback, as far as people changing their lives, as far as people finally getting the balance that they want in their life, being able to mesh business, I mean, extreme business, success in business with success in money and their family and their relationships and their friendships and their health and their fitness, all of it finally coming together for the first time for Love Hill. And Love Hill, it comes together for a day and then it's gone again, right? Oh, now this screwed up, right? So this is an actual system that you plug into that. It's a formula that works. And you know what, Joel, because I know the audience that you've got is my audience. They're people that I believe are that I might be able to really help. I mean, I can't help everybody. There are a lot of people out there that aren't my audience. They're not people that listen to me and could care less what I say. But you deal with entrepreneurs, you deal with people who want to create wealth, who want to do well in business, who want to have a good life. That's my audience. And so, when you do good for people, you need to, I have a mission to do that. So what I want to do is I would like to gift this program to everybody listening in this interview today. So as a special bonus for those of you listening now, I'm going to gift you all the entire life makeover system free of charge. The only thing you need to do is make sure you get in, to get in complimentary is register as close to now as possible as soon as you hear it, so we know we have a spot for you and that we don't close off the registration that's complimentary. So there's a registration set up, and go to registerlms.com. That's register, L as in life, M as in makeover, S as in system.com. Registerlms.com. And again, just because we've had issues with it before, do your absolute best to register right now as soon as you hear it, if at all possible. Just again, so that the site doesn't close down this complimentary thing and end up having to pay for it. I would recommend, if you like anything that I said today and anything resonates with you, then you're going to want to do this. If you don't like what I said today and nothing resonates with you, then please don't register, because you don't like me and you don't like my style and you don't like anything I do. That's great. And I wish you the best of luck and I bless you no matter what. And so if you really want to put it all together finally in your life and have a system for doing so, and here's the thing, sometimes you're going to fall off the bandwagon. It happens. It happens to everybody. Anybody tells you that is BSing you, okay? But now you have a system to get right back on. That's what I love about it. That's what changed my life. Because I had it all together, then I wouldn't. Then I had it, then I wouldn't. Then I had gone away for 3 months, 6 months. But now it's constantly together. When I fall off, I'm off for a day. And that's what changed everything. So, Joe, I want to thank you so much. And I especially want to thank all the listeners and your entire audience and everyone who follows you. And guys, you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing because you need, remember the three things. You need to have the right knowledge and the right you. And listening to programs like Joel's and hopefully like myself, if you resonated with that, that's what you have to do. and go with people that you resonate with and stick with it and keep on learn and do, learn and do, learn and do, learn and do. Don't stop learning and don't stop doing what you learned. And if you do that and you never give up, I promise you, you will succeed. I hope to see a lot of you on the program, or everyone. I would recommend, I mean, if you're truly interested in having a good life, just don't even think about this, then go to registerlms.com and get on this, because it's seriously hot.
Harv, thank you so much for gifting this to us, mate. You are a true champion. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
More than welcome. And thank you for having me, and bless everybody. Bless everybody. I wish you the best of success and the best of luck. And because you know what? You do need luck too. I got it. And you have to have good fortune as well. And that comes with a lot of things in your own character and mindset. You start getting that kind of stuff.
I love the words of wisdom there, Harv. So I want to wrap this interview up with one last question. And the question is, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like?
Well, I'm sure that most people would say it's all about love, but that's something I'm working towards. It's not my greatest strength, I would say, necessarily. Some people are better at that than me, but I would say that you need to recognize that your entire life is in your head. Your entire life is in your head. It's the way you think. That is the software system for your life computer. And if you want to change your life, it will have to start with the way you think, and everything else will be taken care of after that. I've been in this business for a long time. I'm 60 years old, and every single day I'm reminded of that myself. Your thoughts, you need to choose. Here's what I would say to you. Choose your thoughts carefully. Choose your thoughts carefully.
You're a legend, Harv. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today.
Appreciate it. I appreciate that.
Excellent. All the best and much more success to you.
Thank you. You too. Bye. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.